Let's do this.
Blam.
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 Okay, coming from my side, right?
What?
Sound is okay coming from my side? Okay. Because I don't have earbuds like plug into my computer anymore.
And
go.
And go.
go.
I wonder if anybody will show up, considering the fact that we didn't announce it.
And forgot that we were doing it pretty much at all.
Honestly, it kind of works out because, last Sunday was Mother's Day.
So. Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. It's like, oh yeah, this will work out great. It's Mother's Day. Oopsie.
Yeah. How is hashtag Save iCarly still trending?
Wild.
That is really funny.
Bada bing, bada boom, ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. If I glance over to the side, it's because I'm playing a clicker game.
Okay.
Actually, I am one of those people. I've got a game on this monitor going, and then a game on this monitor going, and then you're front and center.
I just have the Sims going on behind you. It's not going on. It's paused. Yes, it's paused. I just made sure.
You might want to make sure.
To be fair, I saved it like right before you and I really kind of started doing like the talking and stuff before the stream. So I could just, shut it down and bring it back up on its last save file.
That's true.
You're a gay cow.
Moo.
How's your gay duck doing?
Great. He hasn't tried to dive in anybody's purse lately. So
because he really wanted to come home with me. Your gay duck really wanted to come home with me.
It's like, let me come with you, please. It was hilarious.
Oh my god. They finally changed the URL on Twitter.
Did they?
X.com, yeah. It is now X.com. I don't care. It'll always be Twitter.
I mean, my bookmark still works, so I ain't changed it.
Yeah, it still works if you go to twitter.com. Like, I literally went to twitter.com and it just forwarded me over to X.com and had like a little notification at the bottom.
Mine still just says twitter.com. No notification or anything. So
mine says X.
Oh, what browser are you using?
Chrome.
Firefox.
I like Chrome.
I like Chrome, but I have too many windows open and it likes to zap memory. So I just have it open for our little Word doc. Word duck. Quack, quack. Quack and quack, quack.
What up, Matthew?
Hey, Firefox for the win. Of course, that's the one that you use.
I'm gonna take a nap. Night.
Okay, good night. Hey guys, we're gonna play a clicker game. Let me pull it up real quick. Aw. Well, guess we go to my Twitch. We'll play it on there. Actually, no, we'd probably play Minecraft because it's the 15th birthday this week, so they're doing a bunch of stuff.
It's 15?
Yeah. Terraria's 12 or 13? What is it? 13. Terraria's 13. I thought they were more in line with each other, but I guess it makes sense that it's 2 years difference. What a old Minecraft.
No, Matthew. Always but just pay direct attention to us and only us. You do not be cleaning at the same time. God.
You can't multitask.
Matthew.
Who said you could multitask?
Matthew. See, Apollo's so angry he just had to walk away.
He's like, I can't handle this. The audacity. Why is Ashley Simpson trending? What is she doing? Oh. Somebody did a top 10 female singers of all time, and they put Ashley Simpson on the list. Like, this is a very interesting choices. Very interesting. Chapel Rain isn't on there. I immediately dislike. How dare.
So wait, it was the list of what, and Ashley Simpson was on it?
Top 10 female singers of all time. Somebody just like compiled their own little list on
and
like
Ashley Simpson.
Ashley Simpson's on it. She's number 7.
Okay, like here's the thing. Ashley Simpson's a fine singer, whatever. I don't care. But like above like Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Kelly Clarkson.
None of them are on the list. It's only like a top 10. So
Ariana Grande.
She's not on there either.
I would say she's super problematic. I get it, but like, at least acknowledge the fact that she's extremely talented.
Do you want to know who number 1 is?
List. I need to know this list.
Number 1 is Mariah Carey.
Okay, that I can understand.
No, Avril's not on there, Matthew. Can you believe? 2 is Whitney Houston.
Okay, I'll take it.
3 is JoJo. Not JoJo Siwa. I don't know who this JoJo is. I know
who JoJo is.
Okay. 4 is Lady Gaga. 5 is Aretha Franklin.
Okay. Definitely
6 is Beyonce.
Okay.
7 is Ashley Simpson. 8 is Tina Turner.
Okay.
9 is Adele.
Okay.
And 10 is Addison Rae. Like, I like Addison Rae, but I don't think I'd put her in a top 10.
She's fine.
I don't, maybe top
and I mean,
20?
Please do not massacre me, but that's kind of how I also feel about Beyonce. Like, Beyonce's fine. Like, she's a very good singer, don't get me wrong. She's got an incredible voice. And I'm still angry at the people who produced the CGI Lion King when you had a singer like Beyonce play Nala and you didn't have her sing Shadowlands from the Broadway show.
Like, what?
GTFO right this second. But like, I still find other female singers more talented than Beyonce is, in my opinion. But I mean, she's definitely up there. Definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Put Ashley Simpson and Addison Rae on the same list as Aretha Franklin. I'm sorry.
And Whitney Houston.
No. And Whitney Houston. No. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Oh, what's her name? Isn't on here. The Canadian singer. My heart will go on.
Oh, Celine Dion.
She's
I was like, which Canadian singer? Shania Twain? If you're going to put Shania Twain on that list, we have to talk. You're a little too Texas at this point. Don't get me wrong. Well, Shania Twain went to her concert when she was here. But on that list, no.
He's funny. It's very, very interesting.
Absolutely 100% same.
I found her new album very interesting because, like, everybody portrayed it as country, but it's not country. It's like unlimited genres, and it was really like fun to listen to all the way through.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love her newest album. Absolutely love it. Like, I have nothing bad to say about her at all. But yeah, the majority of what I hear, because I love the harmonization of Destiny's Child. Like, their harmonization,
so good.
One of the best girl bands ever. And I'm like a big Spice Girls fan. So like, and they harmonize pretty well too, but like, there is no beating Destiny's Child in their harmonization.
Yeah, it is top tier. Click, click, click.
Is that why Ashley Simpson is trending?
I think so, because
on the tweeters.
Yeah, because rock history, I guess, made that list. I'm just seeing a bunch of people like posting it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, JoJo, Ashley Simpson, and Addison Rae. Are you effing serious? What kind of half-assed troll bait is this bullshit?
That's 100% what it is. They want that sweet, sweet interaction.
Like, again, I like JoJo, don't get me wrong, but JoJo should not be number 3.
Right? Above Aretha Franklin?
Opinion, right? I mean, I could reorder this list. First of all, Mariah Carey would not be number 1. I'd probably put Aretha Franklin number 1. Whitney Houston's probably number 2 for me, then Tina Turner. Then it would go into ones that are not on this list for me. Like, at that point, then, like, Kelly Clarkson would probably go on that list.
I would want to put Nina Simone on that list because I just love her to pieces. But it's like there's somebody else from that era that I can't think of her name. But she should also be on the list. This is a funny list.
You wanna go outside? Go outside. I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh, also, Ronald, I see your comment. It's just us two, so you can just hang out and chill with us if you like. Maybe in the future we'll have some rating peeps, but I don't know when that's gonna happen. Probably not for a while. Yeah, this list is funny. I can't think of who I'm missing though. I know there's somebody that I'm missing. I'm gonna have to. It's like from that big band era. Let's see if I can find. I like things. Let's see if I can figure it out. Because I know I'm missing somebody. Cher's not on the list.
Oh, Cher's not on the list.
Cher's not on the list. I was like, I know there's somebody else. She's not the one that I was thinking of, but there's somebody that I'm thinking of.
Oh, there's so many people from that era that are like beyond talented.
But there's somebody very specific, and I can't. Oh, it annoys me that I can't figure it out.
Oh, I'm sure there are people that would assume it's JoJo Siwa, who would not be on any incredible female singer list.
Well, the list very smartly has pictures of the singers, because at first I just read JoJo and I was like, JoJo Siwa. No way. Okay. So yeah, this is annoying me that I can't think of who the singer is. Oh, Ella Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald.
Ella Fitzgerald.
That's who it is.
Like, there's so many amazing singers from that era of music.
Good, very good. Good voices. Like, we'll probably listen to some 50s big band music later. Love it.
Oh my god, a Cheetan video just came across my Twitter timeline.
Oh, what?
You know who Cheetan is? It's Japan's mascot.
Oh, I guess I probably would know if I saw it, but I am blind.
Yeah. Oh, eventually that dog's gonna want to come inside again. Did he finish his bully stick?
Maybe.
Finish his bully stick already. He just went crazy for that thing.
He's like,
either he's going back in his crate or the rest of the stream is, hey,
as per usual.
Yeah, that's why he's usually in his crate. And whenever I get him a bully stick to have him out of his crate for this, the only thing is, like, I was at Mindeshirken for most of the morning.
Right.
Well, I was at Mindeshirken for a good portion of the morning, and then we did the parade, and then I did my errands. but I was at Mindershirken so early, not so early, but for such a long time that I feel guilty about him being in his crate right now.
Yeah.
Because like
Let him.
the weekends are his days that he doesn't have to worry about his crate at all. So
Yeah.
whatever. It's fine.
This is fine.
We'll see how he does.
Oh, we know exactly how he does.
Oof. All right. I know it's only been like 16 minutes, but should we just go ahead and do our intros at this point?
We might as well.
Because we're not like going, we're not super ADHD, I don't think, right now. So
I think we're too tired.
So hello, everyone. Welcome to the official start of the live stream. We were going to do this last week, but we both absolutely forgot. But it was also Mother's Day, so
it was also we forgot because it was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
I didn't even realize it until what, Tuesday, I think is when I said something.
I think so. Yeah.
It's like,
Pretty
wait.
sure.
And I looked on because I was like, oh yeah, it's probably this Sunday. Let me double check our little notes. And I read it. I was like, oh.
I completely just forgot this live stream existed for a hot second.
You know, fair. It's fair. Life be happening. What was I doing?
Oh my gosh. I'm scrolling up our chat so I can find our, because for some reason it doesn't, like when stuff I have pinned, I don't know how to access it from the.
Oh, don't you just like click the
desktop.
little thing and the hoopity doopity boppity boopity?
What?
You know what I ought to do? I ought to just what? Why is there not a look at pinned?
That's what I'm saying.
That's stupid. You know what I ought to do? I ought to just put it in our Discord and you should just look at the Discord.
My God, that means I have to get on Discord.
Oh no, how tragic.
Do you understand how little I use Discord?
I mean, I'm not on there every day like I used to be, so, you know, but it's so much easier.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, go ahead and put it on our Discord. I gotta let the dog in again.
Okay. First, I have to remember share. Copy link. Done. Conveniently, I do have Discord open. Ha ha. But I have to find our right. Our little server has Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
The dog is going to town on his water at the moment, so he'll be over here in a minute. Boop. He clearly worked up a thirst outside in the 5 minutes he spent outside.
I mean, it's so hot.
It's actually
Why is there a weather alert? Go away. Oh, it's for the air quality. Apparently our air quality is bad. Surprise, surprise.
Okay, so Discord's not loading.
Well, conveniently for you, I just copied the thingy, so I'll just beep, bop.
Plop it in our chat again.
Beep, bop, borp. It
Thanks.
should work. Welcome. It's so weird. I wonder why.
My dog is broken.
Tell me something new.
Look, my dog is broken. Do not rip my blanket. Stay out of the laundry. Dude. Dude. Last thing I need is for you to pull underwear out on a live stream. You need a hug?
Duh.
Yeah, kisses. Okay. I love you too. Where's your toy? Find your toy. Oh. I don't even know. Okay, let's officially actually get started. It's been 20 minutes now. Hooray for us.
Hey! And you said our ADHD wouldn't activate.
Thank you, Apollo.
Leave it to the dog.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream of Creative Accountability. Your host, Britt, and her co-host, Apollo. Who
I'm just here for the giggles.
Yeah. I am Britt. I'm a contemporary romance author. Under a different name, I will be writing young adult sci-fi and fantasy. And I got to meet my my favorite childhood author earlier this week, and that just ignited this desire to write that sci-fi. So I'm probably going to start working on that relatively soon again.
Ooh.
Because dang it, that was just such a joy to meet the woman that brought me Animorphs. So, which, if you're unaware, my sci-fi that I've been working on since I was like a junior in high school, the story has changed many times over the course of the last 20 years of my life, but because it's been 20 years, but it was in part inspired by Animorphs and in part inspired by Power Rangers. So those things together created this sci-fi. So if it gives you an idea of like what the sci-fi might look like, that's what it might look like. But yeah, so I might end up switching it up to sci-fi for a little while because I really want to write that story now. I really want to finish it. I've started writing it many times, but I like the current direction it's going, but I need to redo a lot of it. So but that's me. Yeah, so my debut novel Deepwater was released back in November, and it
not in my hand.
Is not available in the description right this second. I have it over by my TV by my bed, so I could go grab it, but I don't have a copy in reach at the moment. So
mine's in the other room.
I have 11 copies in total. Do not. Thank you. This is what the majority of the live stream is for me, is talking to my dog and not gentle parenting my dog, because that doesn't work for golden retrievers apparently. But no, that's me. No.
What? He's here for you, Orange Fence.
Orange Fence. I should change my name to Orange Fence.
BH Orange Fence.
BH Orange Fence. All right, he needs to go back in his crate. I'll be right back. You introduce yourself.
I'll introduce myself. It was an amazing line. I like it. BH Orange Fence has a nice ring to it. But hi, I'm Kay. Nice to meet you all. I don't have anything published, so I can't flaunt anything or anything. I particularly dabble in the old space opera fantasy horror. I've got like a nice mini series that I've been inconsistently working on. Yep, that's me. Bert Sienna Orange Garage Door.
Bert Sienna Orange.
I think it's funny how I've got a full like name and you've got initials for yours to match K.A.
That I would say, yeah, that it's all based off of K.A. Applegate,
which is hilarious.
I thought it was very clever.
It is very clever.
Not to give Zilla any credit, but it was clever.
I will give Zilla credit for it. It was hilarious. I just want to know where Garage Door came from for mine. Like,
I have no idea where your name came from.
But honestly, if ever it did happen, the signature will be killing it.
Get out of here, Zilla. Get out of here. So anybody who doesn't know, I know Zilla in real life. Zilla has been a friend of mine for over a decade. Right? When did we meet? 2001 or 2001. That's no. 2001.
That's
2011.
more than a decade.
It's over a decade at this point. That much I know. Oh, you needed another door-based object.
So
Got
you
it.
picked garage door?
Got you. But no, Zilla and I know each other in real life. He's appeared in some of my videos. He and I have been convention friends for a very, very long time. Was it? Was it at the Crown Plaza? Really? In St. Paul?
Surprise. Surprise, surprise.
Either way, we've been friends for over a decade.
Where is my mouse? There it is.
How was it 2008 at all? I mean, I suppose we were both at D2. Well, we were both at that one convention I can't mention anymore. When it was still at the Thunderbird here in Bloomington.
That's funny.
Sorry, I play with Post-its.
I play with koosh balls.
And I suppose we were both at that same panel. It just, I wasn't hosting that panel at that point. And
my koosh ball is the same color as your shirt.
Pretty cool. So yeah, because that's my memories. We met the first year. So yeah, it would have been 2009 because it was the first year that I helped host that panel at that convention I can't mention anymore publicly. I mean, there's nothing legal. I can absolutely mention it. It's just every time I do, somehow they have ears and they yell at me.
Big stupid.
Somebody will come and harass me and abuse me. It's fine.
Ah!
They're developing such a bad reputation at this point that I can't imagine they'll survive much longer.
Right? Like it's their own doing.
Yeah.
Get wrecked.
But yeah, so and then Dylan and Kay know each other through mostly this, right? How did you and Zilla actually meet? Well, because you guys have not met in person, obviously.
No, I'm pretty sure it was through you.
Well, yes, it was through me, but I don't remember like in what context. Was it this live stream that you guys started to talk, or?
I think it was your live streams. Yeah.
I know I signed it.
Yeah, no, I think it's like, yeah, it was the live stream. Because he came to support you, and then shenanigans ensued. Yeah. And now we're all apparently writing a more anthology book together.
Yeah, that came from a previous live stream. So if you're curious, go back and watch all of our other live streams.
Go for it. They're not long.
No, not at all. But yeah, and so Zilla is also working on being an author. He is working on his debut. And the anthology. Yeah, we actually need to like get roaring on that. But get out of here.
You can't make me.
I can. Bye. You're writing your query letters now. That's awesome.
Woohoo!
You are going trad versus trying to indie. I know, and I even have you as like in like a
mod.
I'm
a moderator. It's funny.
I should be making. Why isn't Zilla a mod? Zilla should be a mod.
I don't know. That's too much power for one man.
Maybe. Is that too much power for Zilla to have? Is that too much power?
Oh my gosh. What if Zilla also got a fun, silly author name?
Well, good luck. I hope you do get trad published because that'd be amazing. I'd be very proud of you. BC Cardor. BZ Cardor. Yeah.
BZ Cardor.
BZ Cardor. There we go. We all have our KA Applegate name now.
Wait, does Dylan have one yet?
Dylan doesn't have one. Neither does Matthew. Is Matthew still in here? Matthew, do you want? I mean,
Matthew, do you want a silly door name?
You No, it's fine. No, find Kate Applegate and tell her.
You started something in the friend group. You unknowingly started something. Matthew.
Yes, I can be a door. I don't even know what other kind of doors are there.
There is one. I'm trying to.
We should make Matthew. Should Matthew be a Jedi and be the automatic door? Somebody can be an emergency exit door. Revolving door.
I was gonna go for like auto door, so it's nice and short.
Revolving door. Oh my god, poor Matthew.
He's funny.
Oh. So yeah, this stream, if anybody's new around here and you're curious as to like why this stream is the way it is because both Kay and I have uncontrolled ADHD, barely diagnosed on my end. I don't even know if you're technically diagnosed, Kay.
It costs money to do that.
Yeah. But we just we introduce ourselves and we eventually talk about our writing at some point through the ADHD rants.
Snakes his way in.
Yeah. You blink and you miss it, really.
Honestly, yeah.
But yeah, so let's go ahead and maybe talk about it. So our goals for last month. So Kay was just survive work.
I did it.
Yay, you
I did. Very happy indeed.
Yeah, and your workload is going to go relatively back to what it used to be.
Which is not to say that it's halved or anything. It's more like a little tiny chunk got removed.
Yeah, an aspect of it got removed.
It's enough where I'm not stressing out about the building every 5 seconds. So
yeah, because when I was out there, I cannot even count how many times people either texted you or called you while you were on vacation.
Yep. So it's been fun. What's funny is that hasn't technically slackened off because they do still like message me before they message the GM. It just is the way that it is. I guess I'm just that approachable. But yeah. So
but you did do some writing. I mean, maybe not like in the do you work for them, Zilla? Do you work with them at the movie?
Secretly.
Thing?
Secretly. Zilla's my minion.
But you did do some writing, maybe not for your specific stories, but you did do some writing.
I did, and it actually accidentally maybe like the ancestor of one of the characters from the like actual series, maybe accidentally. But yeah, there was just like a scene stuck in my head. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll write it. And then I wrote it, and it's at like 7,000 words right now. So it's like,
nice.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Yeah.
Kind of want to expand on it because I have like ideas of how I kind of want it to go. So it may actually get fully fleshed out. We'll see.
I mean, whatever works. And honestly, all writing is good writing, in my opinion. That was something that I learned when I was in a creative writing class in college. Was literally the professor had us like sort of blog. I don't remember what blog like format it was on, like if it was the university or if it was like on Blogspot or Live Journal or whatever. I don't remember the specifics. This was like 20 years ago. Almost 20 years ago. And he was like, all writing is good writing. I don't care what you write. Sorry, I got like a little.
Got a frog in your throat?
A little bit. Nodley's spirit has come back to haunt me, but has sat my ripping throat. Get out here, Nods. Nodley was my frog, FYI. I used to have a pet frog, a pet bullfrog. She passed a few years ago. But anyway, but no, he's like, all writing is good writing. He's like, so basically, because it was a 3-day-a-week class, so it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday for an hour, which makes it 3 credits because it's 3 hours of work a week. And it was like every Wednesday we came in and all we did was write. Like there was no lecture, there was no learning or teaching or anything. We just sat down to write. And he's like, I don't care if you write your name 600 times. I don't care if all you do is write swear words. I don't care. I don't care if you just sit down and just have a stream of consciousness and you just write. Like, I don't care. Write. And that was a really cool class to be part of because like it really helped me understand to just get words on paper. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. Because like when we were together in Texas for the eclipse, and I wrote one morning. It had nothing to do with a story of any kind that I'm ever going to write because it was a fan fiction. Granted, I know a lot of people have utilized fan fiction and changed it over. And there are elements of stories that I have where it has been, oh, this was inspired by this fan fiction and I've just changed the names or whatever, right? The thing I was writing earlier this week is very much that. I officially decided what the new names are, so I changed the names over. But this was definitely like very much in that universe. There was really no like utilizing it. So I know I can't utilize it for anything, but it still gave me like, you know what I mean? So already it's good.
Let you do some scribbledy bibble.
Right. And that's what happened with you is you just wrote a thing that was stuck in your head. And so you wrote it. And now it might actually flesh out into your universe that you're creating.
Which is wild.
The only thing you gotta really focus on eventually is sticking to one story from that universe.
Oh yeah.
So, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you how to do the thing. I'm
gonna do what I want.
I'm in my 30s. I do what I want.
I do what I want, man.
But yeah, so proud of you for doing some writing. You said also maybe just do outline stuff. Did you do any outline stuff?
I have hit a wall with book 0 volume 1, and I think I just need to figure out how to crush the wall because it's just making me stuck.
You know what Kay applicated? You know what she said?
No, like
this was good. One of the questions she got during her actual talk, during the Q&A section, was how do you deal with writer's block? And she said there is no such thing as writer's block. She goes, in my opinion, she said that writer's block is only just an issue with your story. So if you ever hit a wall, there's something wrong with your story. You have to go back and figure out what the problem is and fix it that way.
This is more a personal thought. I can go more in depth off stream, maybe.
That's fair.
But yeah, it's just, it relates too much to a current event. And so I'm kind of like, should I back off a bit? Should I change it? Because like it lined up way too well with the real life thing and I don't want it to.
Fair.
So
that's absolutely fair.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out like how I want to adjust that.
No, Matthew, you don't get to do what you want yet. You're not a full adult. You're an adult. You're just not a full ass adult yet.
I'll tell you what to do.
Yeah, and that's the problem, Zilla. That's the problem.
Chaos. Mr. Cardor over here.
Mr. Cardor.
BZ Cardor.
BZ Cardor.
That actually is like a really good like joke pen name. I'm kind of annoyed.
Yeah, yours really can't be a pen name. But you could do something with Sienna. That's cool. I like the name Sienna.
Yeah, Sienna's cool. I don't know what in the world I would do with it, but
did I ever? Though there are conventions where we're hanging out and a lot of people think we're married, so maybe that's when I have control over you, power over you.
You should. It's hilarious.
100%. BZ Cardor.
100%.
BZ Cardor. I'm not going to use BH Orange Fence, FYI.
Why not?
Because I like my other pen name better. I haven't shared my pen name publicly yet. But because I have got to create a whole new social media stuff for that one, so I can have the two separated, which is going to be intense. I think we get sued. There's a musical band called The
Well, see, if it's not a music group, can you get sued if it's not the same thing?
I mean, we're not in the same space, so maybe not.
See? I have to find a thing. I can't
okay. So my goal was to have written at least 1 hour every week. I did not necessarily write 1 hour every week, but I did write something every week. Not a full hour, and only just because my life did not necessarily give way to writing for an hour, because this is the stupidest excuse on the face of the planet. I got myself an N64 emulator on my Switch, and I've been playing Mario 64 for like the last week.
Nice.
That I beat Pokemon Snap in a day. And I'm almost done with Mario 64. I'm at the last Bowser, and he was pissing me off this morning, but that's okay because I had to charge my Switch anyway. So I put my Switch on the dock, and I haven't played it since. And so I'm going to probably hopefully beat that tonight.
I wonder, because it's like, I've got you as a friend on there, and I'm like, oh, Britt's been doing stuff. I wonder what she's been playing. So it's kind of funny. I started a new save on Stardew Valley.
I need to get one of the new Pokemon games for sure. But no, I have written at least, and actually I went through a span of time where I really got inspired. Again, it was kind of a fan fiction idea, but then I just was like, you know what? No, this is something that I could move into an actual story idea. And then this morning I came up with this fun idea about, and I was going to let TikTok essentially in a way decide, or let a TikTok filter decide what romance trope I wanted to, or was going to use in my next book. And I was thinking maybe that would be a fun way to like get myself out of my comfort zone a little bit, maybe, but also like forcing me to think of a new story, even though I've got plenty of story ideas. I keep starting each one and going, I'm not in the mood for writing this one. But apparently those TikTok filters don't work on my phone anymore. I don't know why. Like it keeps me like, this filter doesn't work for this device or something like that. I keep getting a weird error message. So I don't know.
That's weird.
You know how you blind rank, those filters where you blind rank stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go through and just go from 10 to 1. And then whatever lands on 1 would be the trope that I would write for. But I can't even use that dang filter. And so
that's dumb.
It is dumb. So I think at the end of the day, the only thing that I feel inspired to really write at this point is my sci-fi. So I really think, even though it's going to be such a big thing, because I want to write all 3 of them. At least get the first draft of all 3 of them done before I publish the first one. Because if I want to
idea.
Because if something happens in book 3 that I want to like foreshadow in book 1, you know what I mean? Like I want to be able to go and fix that before it goes out into the world. So that's why I think I keep pulling away from it so much, is I know it's going to be a massive undertaking just to get one of the books published. After that, it'll be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because once I get all of the first drafts of it done, then I'll be able to get them out and finished a lot faster. I want to write another romance before I start that project, because I want to have a second book out there a lot sooner. So
Makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm back on doing the Holland Hall series, which is about that, essentially just like standalone romance stories set in a freshman dorm of college. Because we've all been, well, maybe not all of us have been freshmen in college, but
What's education?
the both of us, not both of us, but like those of us, I meant to say those of us who've been to college
Can't relate.
can't relate. It's an interesting time to be a freshman living in the dorms, having that first kind of feeling of freedom and realizing you're this whole ass person outside of your parents. And just like it's a whole different kind of coming of age place. That's why I wanted to explore it. I wanted to kind of go back and explore the kinds of things that I witnessed when I lived in the freshman dorm, but also things that I experienced living in the freshman dorm. Yeah. Romance things.
Sounds like a good plan.
So that's why I started writing. That's what actually I started writing was one of the Holland Hall books, but I just don't know which one I want to do first. The one that I actually finished, which I went back and found I didn't finish it, apparently.
I thought you did.
Absolutely thought I did.
What did
And
you
maybe
do?
I did. Maybe it's just somewhere hidden on one of my computers.
Buried in your OneDrive.
Well, but it's not where I would normally have it. But remember I had that problem with where the vinyl ends too?
Yeah, and you thought you'd lost it forever, but then you found it in some weird spot. So
yeah, so I'll have to go onto this computer and see if I maybe have a copy of it on this computer. Probably not, because I think I wrote it on my old laptop, the one I just decommissioned, but I still have it. Because it still works. It just doesn't work well. Probably because there was one time where I threw it across the room.
Nah, that wouldn't have anything to do with it.
And it wasn't like a vicious throw it across the room. It was, it's not shutting up, because I needed to shut up for a meeting. And I was like, ah! And I threw it across the room, like in a panic.
It's funny.
Yeah. It's got dents on it because of it. And it just never worked right.
Gee, I wonder why.
I knocked something loose, clearly.
Probably. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
But yeah, that's my update for the month. Because, I need to get my shit together as well and actually write.
Authors who write what? Who do you think we are?
Full-time job.
Brandon Sanderson?
Yeah, well, his full-time job is writing.
If only, right?
Yeah, that's why.
No, I think about that. And I'm like, would I actually sit down and write if it was my job? I would like to think so.
I would like to think so.
But sometimes I don't think so.
But I think it's also going to help when I move, because I'm going to have a room dedicated specifically to my creative stuff. Where like the only vibes allowed in there is creative vibes. Like if you're not going to be creative in that room, you're not allowed in it. And so hopefully my cat just sounded like a freaking elephant up in my parents' unit. Like, I swear it sounded like a freaking elephant up there.
Big stomping time.
But right now I don't have that. So like sitting here at this desk is helpful in a sense, because the only thing I do on this computer is play The Sims or be creative. But I also am creative on my laptop, and also my Switch exists. And it's sometimes in view. And if it's in view, I'll be like, oh, I could be beating Bowser right now.
Right. Mine's literally staring right at me. It's right there. It's right in front of me. It's like, ooh, play me. Ooh. Which is why I got the laptop specifically just for writing. It's like, all right, if I'm on this, I can't do anything but write. So
yeah, and that's
to work out.
My sister and I were just talking about that because my sister likes to video edit because she does home movies, but not in the same way that, you know, like we have home movies from the 90s. She actually does home movies like she is a family vlogger, but she doesn't post them.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, she does post them, but it's always unlisted, so she's just sharing it with like friends and family.
That's smart.
Yeah. And so, but she does it like a family vlogger. Like she is inspired by like they're not a family vlogger, but they're a couple that vlogs, but Kara and Nate, who I am also subscribed to, like people like that. She took like a Casey Neistat class on like vlogging and stuff. So like she's like a very talented vlogger. My sister is a very talented vlogger. And I'm always like, man, if only. She's like, I thought about it, but also, and all of my kids are fine with it if we did, but like that was a thing is I wanted to make sure all my kids were old enough to be like, hey, if I post this publicly, is this okay? And so as my sister has 4 of them, 2 of which are adults now, but God, they're gonna be 20 in December.
Oh my gosh.
I'm old. They were born my senior year of high school, so but anyway, but she texted me last night and we were talking. Oh no, it was the night before, and then we were talking yesterday morning. But she was like, "What kind of laptop did you get? Because you just got a new one, right?" I was like, "Yeah, but like nothing that you're gonna be interested in." She's like, "Why?" I was like, "Because I only edit on my desktop." And I was like, "Do you want the specs of my desktop? It's a Dell before they bought Alienware, and it's got Ryzen 7." And she's like, "No, I'm looking at laptops." I was like, "I don't know, friend." She's probably getting an Alienware though, for the record.
Probably, yeah.
That's like my dream if I ever had to get a new desktop, which I don't think I'll ever have to because I can modify this one if I have to. But if I ever had to get a new desktop, I'd probably go with Alienware. But this is moddable if I ever need to, and so far it works okay, except for it's not going to load Discord.
Maybe you need to update it. Well, no, because when you click on it, like automatically updates. I don't know. Maybe it's just being a butt.
Everything's a butt for me. Like I just can't. Let me open Discord this way.
Yeah. Mom wants a new desktop because she's got the one that I first put together. So it's like almost 10 years old, I think, at this point.
So
and it's chunky. She wants a small little guy.
Yeah, that's what my sister was like. She's like, I want the portability of a laptop. And I was like, that's fine. I could never go back to editing on a laptop. God.
There's a website where you can like you know how I like put together like the computer and blah 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 blah. There's a website where you could do that for laptops. I'll see if I can find it and I'll send it to you so you can send it to her. Because it's like reputable and stuff. I don't remember what, because that was forever ago. Because I decided laptops are too expensive when you want them for fancy stuff. So. Yeah, I have like very particular playlists that I use for writing now. It's kind of fun.
See, that's the thing. I think what I really
has to be instrumental. If it has words in it, I get distracted.
Yes, you do. We've spent actual real time together now, and the amount of times that you just sing, like not even a full song, you just go through a whole playlist and you just are singing away. Anytime there's not any kind of other noise, you are just singing away, and you'll like switch from one song to another. Like something in one song will trigger a memory of another song, so you'll switch to that song, and it's like not even a bother. Like you just switch.
It's funny. I used to play a game with myself going, okay, there's an actual like game that's based off of this, I think, but I just do it with like music where you go from like one title or something, and then when you end it, it has to continue with something else. So I think at that point, I just do it without realizing that I do it. Where is this website? You can't future-proof anything. These people are funny when they say that. I future-proofed my computer. I future-proofed my laptop. You can't do that. Because eventually something will be too big for your thing. Or eventually something has to be like completely redone. Okay, where is this? It bothers me. I used to have it bookmarked, but I don't. That was like forever ago.
Yeah. For me, I think that's the other thing too, is I think what I need to do if I want to write another romance, the one thing I think is missing from my life right now is watching rom-coms. You know, because a lot of times for me that will help like get me into that mood.
Mm-hmm.
But like lately I've been rewatching a bunch of TV shows. Like I'm now rewatching Reba. I've still not finished the British Empire because I just don't want to deal with the DVDs right now. But like I was watching the British Empire. Before that, I rewatched Red Dwarf. And so these are all things that might have some romance in it, but like nothing that really is inspiring. So I think that's what I need to maybe focus on for a little bit is like jumping in and watching just a bunch of romantic comedies. I did watch one Mother's Day weekend. It was terrible.
Oof.
Yeah, it was one of the new Netflix ones, and it was not good, which makes me sad because it has 2 actors in it I like. Well, 3 actors in it I like.
Aw.
So, yeah, it was kind of a bummer. I was looking forward to it.
That is a bummer. Yeah, I need to, because that also helps spark like interest is dabbling in like sci-fi and stuff. So
Yeah.
I haven't. I've just been rewatching Bluey.
That's not going to help you write horror.
No, it's not. But it'll help me write the fan fiction crossover thing or whatever it was. Bluey and Dr. Pepper.
The other thing too that I think has changed since I've been really actively writing is I've been reading a lot less fiction. The majority of the books I've read recently have all been nonfiction. Like right now I'm almost done with Kenan Thompson's book. Which by the way, I mean, not the best writer in the world, but like it's really fun to get like an inside look of like all that and SNL and stuff. It's actually been a really fun read. So I highly recommend it. And before that I read like Britney Spears' book, and I have been reading some like not really self-help but like educational like deconstruction type of books. But I look at them in the same realm as self-help because it is self-help to deconstruct bad mentalities and thoughts and ways that you grew up that are harmful. So I've been reading a lot of those kinds of things lately, which again I think without reading my ever-growing pile of romance books, I probably should be reading these. Again, I just need to get back into the swing of it.
Yeah, my issue, because I've got fantasy sci-fi sort of book series that I've been wanting to read, and I got it on Audible. And I tried listening to it a bit before bed, and the narrator's voice is just so soothing, it puts me to sleep. So I'm like, okay, I can't listen to this before bed. Like, I'm just gonna fall asleep.
Yeah.
Kind of funny. Now I got like another one or something. I haven't.
And I get real weird listening to audiobooks when they're romance books. I get real weird about it.
Yeah,
like, spicy stuff, and I'm sitting there being like,
right, at least when you're reading it, you don't have to worry about somebody like overhearing it.
My most uncomfortable moment reading a spicy scene was when I was reading Dating Dr. Dill, which, if you like romance, love that book. I have not read her follow-up to it, which is crap. What was it? I think it's Much Ado About Nothing. She's basically taking Shakespeare plays and she's writing romance novels based off of Shakespeare plays. I can't remember what her newest one is. I have it. I just can't remember what it's based off of. But I was reading Dating Dr. Dill, and it was the morning I was at No Brand Con, which is a con that I don't know what's going on with that con right now. So I either do or did staff it at this point. I have no idea what's happening with it. Um, but it's a convention. It used to be in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Then it moved to the Wisconsin Dells. Then now it's in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, which was the bane of my existence because I'm head of guest relations and I don't want to drive 3 hours to get to a freaking airport. But so I have other people do airport runs for me.
Nice.
But anyway, I was at that convention and I was sharing a room with my friend Remy and their husband Adam and then their kid, who at the time was 4. I think he was 4. And I was just awake one morning. Or no, sorry, it was not the morning. It was the night. It was just me and the kid in the room. He was sleeping. The kid was sleeping. It was so funny because Remy came back at one point and they're like, you didn't feel like you had to come back, right? Because the kid knows not to like open the door, stay in the room, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, it's fine. Like, it's not the reason I came back. I just was tired and I just came back to read. And she's like, oh, they're like, oh, okay, that's great. So then, but I was alone in the room with the kid and the kid was sleeping luckily, but like I got to a spicy scene. I was like, this is uncomfortable. I have to stop now. I cannot be like 3 feet away from a child and be reading this. Bye.
Yeah.
Close the book.
No. Yeah, no.
Oh,
Awkward.
So, but yeah. So, yeah, I think that's what I need to do. I need to set myself up for more success. And I think the reading a lot of nonfiction recently and not filling my brain with romance inspiration, I think has been really detrimental to my ability to write. Because when I was reading a lot of romance and I was watching a lot of rom-com movies for inspiration, I was writing like crazy. And now that I'm not writing it like crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm having trouble sticking to one story.
That makes sense. It makes sense.
What do you think you could do that will help you stick to one story?
Honestly, at this point, I don't know.
You gotta figure something out, right? Because that's part of
this. Yeah, no.
I'm your accountability partner. So how are you going to do that?
I'm gonna figure out this problem because this problem is like the main chunk of it all. Once I figure this problem out, then we'll be back on business. Because like I skipped the first like chapter because I didn't want to deal with the scene that happens that I'm like questioning. So yeah. Once I figure that out, I think we'll be back on track and it'll be grooving around like it was. So
do you have any idea what the problem may be? Obviously, you don't have to share it if you know what the problem might be, but
it's just I don't know if the timing was just weird, but like real life things happened that kind of like lined up with what was happening in the book.
Yeah, that's right.
You
mentioned that. Okay, so that's your issue.
Yeah. Oh, we got a question.
Oh yeah, okay. So creative accountability. So both Kay and I are authors, and we decided to start doing this live stream to keep each other accountable since we are, not. I mean, we were in the same place at one point, a little over a month ago, but we're long distance friends, and we decided to hold each other accountable by doing these monthly live streams to keep up with what each other are doing in our creative endeavors and trying to set goals that we're going to help keep each other accountable for.
Yep.
Isn't that pretty much it? Or do you have anything to add to that?
No, that's pretty much it. It's like, hey, let's make sure that we're accountable and not slacking off. So, yeah. Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
In a way.
So like, we both set goals at the end of each stream, and then the next stream we ask each other about our goals. How, if we met them or if we didn't, and if we didn't, why?
Gotta make sure we set them reasonably, because you don't want to set an outrageous goal and then it's just
I am going to publish a book by the next stream. Just kidding. That is not my next goal.
All right. Miss Fancy Pants over here.
You never understood the advice, write what you know in terms of fantasy. Well, I think the mentality of write what you know is, where are you strongest? Where is your knowledge the strongest, right? So I mean, even in something like fantasy, where you're basically creating a whole new world, you can still have elements of it that are things that you have experienced personally, right? Like growing up as a woman, I know what it's like to be faced with misogyny on a pretty regular basis, right? So I can create a world in fantasy where there is a group of people that are experiencing some form of oppression because of whatever they might experience, whatever they might be. They can experience oppression where their rights are slowly taken away bit by bit, because that's something that women have been experiencing. Women and have been experiencing for the last couple of years. That kind of thing, that's what I think that means, is write what you know. Even in the terms of fantasy, I think it can absolutely be still write what you know. A lot of my characters are based out of Minnesota because that's where I'm from. So, one series in particular will be in Colorado, but that's just because it's my favorite city in Colorado. If you're writing, write whatever you want to write, whatever inspires you. You don't have to stick to the concept of write what you know. That's just, a piece of advice. Yeah. That's just a piece of advice that people, give, just because that can sometimes make storytelling a little bit easier when you're basing it off of your own personal experience or your own personal knowledge. Even if you don't do that, there is no right way to write a book or a story of any kind. No right way.
Unless you go this way.
Oh, well. Unless you go to the left, then
that's the wrong way, not the right way. Ha, ha, ha.
You're welcome. I hope that was helpful. But yeah. So that's. Do you have anything to add to those two questions, Kay?
Not really. You really
I feel like I just owned all of that, so I just want to make sure I want to check in with you and be like,
you need like a little microphone drop.
So there you go.
Yeah, because it's like, write what you know. I'm not in space. I have no idea. But, you just kind of take like the characters themselves sort of thing.
Right. And again, you can use your own personal experience. Like Lori is very much a version of my personality from my debut novel, Deepwater. Lori is very much a personality that I do have from time to time. She's the person I'd like to be all the time. She's only the person I am when I get cranky, snarky with people. And her mother is very much based off of a person after a secondary caregiver in my life, who was not a nice person to me. And a lot of things that are said to Lori by her mother are things that were said to me by this woman in my life. And thankfully, she is officially out of my life because, she's 6 feet under now. I talk so like she is a big reason I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So
I mean, she does not deserve much respect. So like,
no. I remember when I was like, I think I was like 16, 17 when I told myself I was going to dance on her grave. And so the very first time we visited her grave, I did in fact dance on it. I lived that out and made my teenage self very proud of myself. Yes. So,
Oh, yeah. Explosions in space. That's not actually a real thing that happens.
It is not a real thing that happens because there is no oxygen in space. Therefore, there cannot be explosions.
Fun. So therefore, they happen. Oh, I will say, as much as I am not a big fan of the sequel trilogy for Star Wars, there was one scene that I really enjoyed from it because, like, they took kind of real physics in that moment and just made it like really good. I'm not gonna say what it was because it's kind of spoilery, but it's a really good scene. Good space.
I'm pretty sure I know which one you're talking about, and only just because we've studied it in film. Like in my film classes, we studied it.
Really?
Yeah.
The sequel trilogy?
Yeah. No, okay, not the sequel trilogy. Sorry. I thought you
That's what I thought. I was like, those are kind of new.
When those came out. No. When the prequels. Okay, so it's not the one you're thinking of. It's not the one I'm thinking of. The one I'm thinking of, there's a really cool moment in the prequels that we studied.
Episode 2?
Yes.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. But yeah, when they do like little things like that, it's fun. But like, it doesn't have to be realistic. I don't write it to be realistic. If that happened, I wouldn't be writing it because I don't know science.
Yeah, you're not an astronomer.
No. Yeah. Math and I do not get along.
I was gonna say the only reason I did not study astronomy in college was because I'm not good enough at math. Yeah, like if I were better at math, I would absolutely be working for NASA right now.
Oh, that would be so cool.
That would have been my dream, was to work for NASA. I have a friend that actually works for NASA. She studied robotics in college, and she got an internship with NASA, and they liked her so much they hired her full time when she was done with that.
Exactly. We want like the Star Trek, the Star Wars. That's why I love space opera. It's ridiculous, it's over the top, but it's fun space adventures. Which is why like I enjoy it. Like as soon as I found out about space opera, I was like, I love this. This is my new favorite genre of books.
Which is so funny because Star Wars is based off of a space opera.
It is hilarious. It's great. It's just, I love it. I want fun with my space stuff. I don't want to be smart with my space stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing, there's something to be said about escapism, and the fact of the matter is very few people actually fully understand the science of space. I mean, to be fair, astronomers don't even fully understand the science of space.
Like, we'll never probably understand it. It's just wild.
Yeah. Fun fact, I'm actually rewatching the original Trek right now with my parents. My parents and I are rewatching the original Trek very, very slowly. We're still in season 1 at this point, but luckily there's only 3 seasons, which I made a joke because the like script at the beginning is, these are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. It's 5-year mission and it didn't even last 5 years. It's a 5-year mission. So I asked my parents and I was like, what were they going to do after season 5? Like if they were like super duper popular, got to season 5, were they going to be like, we're going to extend your contract? What are they going to do?
Maybe it would be a Voyager thing. Oopsie. Now we're so far away from where we're supposed to be. Time to trek back, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of our ultimate goal, is then to move on to Next Gen and then move on to Voyager. Well, no, sorry, Next Gen, then Deep Space Nine, then Voyager, because we are going to include Deep Space Nine as well.
I love campy Star Trek.
Campy Star Trek is great. See, that's the thing is, okay, to be fair, I think as much as people, as much as Trekkies would absolutely rake me over the coals for this, Deep Space Nine is my favorite series of Star Trek. Don't come at me. I love Deep Space Nine. I don't know why I love it as much as I do. But Next Gen is definitely up there. And I think it's just because both of them have Worf and I love Worf. Okay.
I'm a big fan of Voyager for no reason at all.
Nine, not at all.
No, Janeway was my favorite captain. Like, I love Picard, but like,
I have often, this is how much of our Trekkie family my family is, like including my sister, who does not watch Star Trek regularly, or like she watched Star Trek with us and then she was done with it, right? I was like, I want to get a Berger Picard, which is Picard, like Captain Picard. It's spelled the same way, a Berger Picard. And I want to name him Wesley, just so every time he barks, I can go, shut up, Wesley. And my sister, I told that to my sister, and my sister burst into laughter. And my nieces and nephew who have never seen Star Trek, because my sister has never shown it to them, they're all like, what's funny about that? And so then I had to start showing them clips of Shut Up, Wesley.
That's funny. I don't think we ever watched Deep Space Nine. And I kept meaning to like watch it on my own, but I just never did.
Deep Space Nine is solid. I like Deep Space. I mean, obviously, Deep Space Nine is my favorite.
I tried to watch Enterprise. I just could not.
I could not get into Enterprise to save my life. And I've been trying to watch Discovery off and on. And Discovery just feels too Star Warsy.
Ooh. You got me sold on that.
Oh, and you would love the captain there too, by the way. FYI.
I saw the captain, yeah.
You'd like the captain there too.
100%.
She's very pretty. She's very, very pretty.
Yes, yeah, no, I've almost bought season 1 of Discovery so many times. And I'm like, well, what if I don't like it?
One of my Power Ranger crushes has like a small recurring role in Discovery. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh,
nice.
I like him. But it's a little too Star Warsy for me. Like it just feels, it doesn't have that same campiness that like the stuff from obviously the 60s, but also then the 90s and the early aughts had. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff.
That's interesting.
The Tuvix episode, I can't remember where the Tuvix episode was. Abso-freaking-lutely not. You were with me when that crush died. You were actively standing next to me as that crush died.
I feel like I remember the Tuvix episode, but I don't remember the Tuvix episode.
It's been so long since I've sat down to watch anything Voyager. I've watched Next Gen and Deep Space Nine since I've been a kid. I think I've only watched Voyager through once.
I started rewatching it, but it was like forever ago, and then I just never, because I think I started buying the seasons, and I was like, oh, I'll start rewatching it, and I just never went through. But I feel like there was an episode where I'm like, this is stupid. Why is this way? So it might be that.
If you want to know, Zilla, it's Chris Violette, the Blue Ranger from SPD. Just gonna throw that out there. Just because I know Zilla knows that series. So yeah, Sky.
Oh, I don't remember that episode then. I must be thinking of something else.
Anyway, so
now I want to rewatch Voyager.
Well, that might be something you need to help inspire you. So maybe rewatching Voyager is not a bad idea, or jumping in and watching Discovery. Do you have Paramount Plus?
No.
Do you want my login?
Maybe.
Okay. I have a profile set up for like friends.
Oh, cool.
I mean, Paramount Plus, I would never share my login information if Paramount Plus ever came across this live stream. Not that they would, but I'm just saying,
don't share.
Never. I would only ever let Kay watch it when we're together, obviously.
Which is definitely happening so soon, for sure.
Absolutely. So if you see Voyager on this other profile on my Paramount Plus, it's because Kay and I are in the same place again, obviously.
Duh.
I love it.
Yeah, no. I also still need to watch Doctor Who. I like stopped I have not got very far.
I got to Pertwee, which is the third Doctor, and I took another break to rewatch Reba. That's the thing too, is I've been on a Doctor Who kick, and that is not helping writing contemporary romance. Not until the reboot. The reboot might help a little because they are obsessed with making the Doctor fall in love with people in the reboot. Like they are obsessed with it. Every once in a while, the Doctor falls in love with one of his companions or one of their companions. does not happen. I mean, kind of alludes to it a little tiny bit in some iterations of the Doctor.
I haven't seen the new Dune films. Okay, I
I
was
also
gonna
have not,
watch part 1 when it was in theaters, and I didn't. Part 2 came out, I was like,
which is
"Okay."
hilarious to me. You're like, I'm gonna watch it in the theaters, and then don't. Have you seen where you work?
Yeah, have you seen where I work? I am there. Joking, like, the joke is I'm there 24/7. I don't have time to watch movies. I might, cause like, there's so many that are out now that I wanna watch, and it's like, when? 'Cause
Uh,
all these new movies are so long, and it's like, ugh.
that's my issue with movies these days is they've just gotten I mean, like, do you remember when, like, Titanic came out and it was unheard of that it was, like, 3 hours long?
Everybody's
And now
like,
a lot of movies are 3 hours long, and I'm just like, "This is normal now." Like, back when we were like, "There are 2 whole VHS tapes for Titanic," and now it's just like, "No, this is normal."
right? It's
I mean,
just
it
so
takes a
weird to
whole
me.
afternoon.
'Cause, like, also we play, like, the Telugu, Hindi, like, the basically Bollywood, even though that's not the correct term, because apparently, like, it's for different regions and stuff. Anyway, we play those, and they
Do
come
I
with
have to go into
intermissions.
a film lecture about Bollywood? Because I can.
No, you're good. We were curious what day up at work it was, like, slow, so we're, like, Googling it, I'm like, "Oh, hey, guess what? This is incorrect," and we were all like it was fun. But anyway, they've got, like, it's split, so there's intermissions, and it's like, I feel like these movies that are 3 hours need to have an intermission because it's just so long.
Well, I mean, that's what they do for, like, plays and Broadway shows and things like that. You
Mhm.
have an
The
intermission
opera and
if it's
stuff,
a
yeah.
certain yeah, if it's a certain length, you have to have a 15-minute intermission.
Yeah,
And I
but
mean,
these
it
don't. And it's like
yeah. And as it normally gets to be longer and longer and longer.
yeah,
I don't
so
know.
I think
I
that's
haven't
another
watched a
reason
new movie in
why.
a long time.
The last one I watched was Godzilla Kong because I really like Godzilla. But, like,
Tarantino
I
does that
mean,
in his films, and it's not even that long, yeah.
yeah, so it's like, I don't
The
know.
Tarantino movies are it's been a long time since I've watched Tarantino, but I like Tarantino.
I haven't seen very many of his. It's fine. But yeah, so that's also kinda because, like, I don't know. I want to watch the movies because, like, anytime I watch, like, a space movie or whatever, it's like, "Ooh, this is kinda fun." Like, I watched ISS, that one was short, and I
Yeah.
was very happy, like, it was the length it needed to be, and it was fun. So, I
I
don't know.
can't remember the last time I went to the theaters. Honestly, the last time I went to the theater
Was a theater. Ha, ha, ha,
the
ha.
last time I went to a movie theater, because the last time I went to a theater was when I went to go see The Lion King, at the Orpheum when it was here in Minneapolis, but that's a stage theater. That's live theater. Last
Fancy
time I went to a
pants over
movie
here.
theater, I mean, I might be able to go as far back as, like, the Power Rangers movie in 2017. Might have been the last time
Jeez.
I went to go see a movie in the theaters.
That has been a hot sec. I'm a little annoyed, um, because I started getting into a groove. Like, I would stay after my Sunday, like, early shift, and I'd watch a movie then. It was, like, my little me time, and then COVID happened. And I just haven't found the groove to do that again because, like, I've got longer shifts now. It starts a little later, so I can't just, like, watch the little 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock movie and then be done by dinner time. So, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, that's expensive. That's another reason why most people don't like, I get it for free, but it's like
And yeah, and that's one of the big reasons why I don't because I'm like, I mean, they're like the thing my mom and I were talking about this because like the Wicked movie is coming out, which I still don't fully understand how they're separating it out into two parts because they're both going to be like 2 hours long. And the Broadway show is like 2.5 hours long. So like what are they changing? My mom's pretty convinced they're probably going to go like do flashbacks and stuff to their childhoods and whatnot, things that
mm,
they don't do in the Broadway show, or at least much of. And I'm like, that would make sense. That would make better sense. But like Wicked is something that I'd want to see in the theaters with surround sound with a big screen. Like that I would want to see the spectacle that is that. Just like when Into the Woods came out as a movie, which is my favorite Broadway show, I went and saw that 5 times in the theaters. It's not even that good. It's not even that good of an adaptation of Into the Woods, but I mean, it's great. The cast is amazing. The writing is great, but they changed some serious elements that I just did not love from the Broadway show and just really took a lot of oomph out of the second act. And the second act, if you know anything about Into the Woods, is rough. But it is rough.
Oof.
Anyway, but yeah, that was one of my big things is like, do I really want to spend that much money going to the theater when I could just wait for it to be here and I could be sitting on my couch cuddling with my dog playing Mario 64 while watching it. Sorry, that is my current hyperfixation is Mario 64 and playing with these Post-its.
Koosh. I got my koosh ball.
You enjoy the feeling of being with the other audience, but Japanese people are so quiet. It's great for drama, but not great for comedy. Yeah, that was one of my favorite things about going to see Into the Woods, the movie Into the Woods, because I went on Christmas Day because that person that I was talking about a little bit earlier was spending Christmas with us that year. And my friend Kelly was like, hey, want to escape? And I was like, yes. And so we went to go see Into the Woods on Christmas Day when it was released. And Kelly and I got the whole audience cheering when Billy Magnuson and Chris Pine ripped their shirts open.
That's great.
I was just excited to see Chris Pine's chest. That's
funny.
That's all I was excited about.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I will say I do like that part. So like big opening nights, sometimes like back when Avengers and stuff was still big, I would go into like that first show because we would we're not able to do this anymore, but we would be able to like pre-screen the movies beforehand. So I kind of knew when like the big moments happen. So I'd like try to sneak in and like just hear the crowd reaction because it made it worthwhile to be utterly exhausted from the fact that they were all there to watch it. So I do miss that. And then there was like some movie that I went and saw. Godzilla -1. That was fun. And then when we did the first redo of not redo, but showings of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, that was fun.
Okay, take it back. Looking at Google, Solo, a Star Wars story was last time I went to the theaters. Because you just unlocked a memory of when I went to go see The Last Jedi, and everybody cheered at one specific part of The Last Jedi. Spoilers.
I think I know what scene it was.
You're so sorry for what? Going to see Solo, a Star Wars movie or Star Wars story? I loved Solo. Are you kidding?
There was a character in Solo that I love, so
I know. There is a lot of eye candy. No matter what you're attracted to, there's eye candy in that movie, and I think I liked it. Okay, but there's eye candy, Zilla.
Okay, so like the one thing about going into watching Solo was weird for me and Mom because Mom loves Solo, but Harrison Ford was her Solo. The Legacy book series was her Solo. So watching this was weird because like it didn't match with all the stuff that is no longer canon. So we were both kind of like, whatever. But like rewatching it the second, third, whatever time, it's not as bad.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Okay.
When it comes to Star Wars destroyed my heart and soul with episode 3 and how Padme dies, because I'm sorry, Leia's like, I remember my mom. I was born for 2 whole seconds before she died.
My assumption now is she's remembering what's his face's wife, not her birth mother.
No, Luke literally asks your birth mother. Asks the question.
Oh,
your birth mother. Do you remember your birth mother? And Leia's like, mostly images.
She was
But
so sad.
then Padme died 2 seconds after Leia was born.
Like,
Anyway,
oh yes, I'm gonna remember this as a newborn.
so episode 3 destroyed my soul when it comes to Star Wars, in the sense of I don't give a crap about like canon or realism at this point anymore. Star Wars for me is just a fun ride, okay? And
Yeah,
I'm
I think I will never get over what like the whole legacy, what's canon now, because my ultimate favorite character has not made a comeback of any sort. So I'm just still annoyed. And they killed that
I never
character off
got
really
into that
stupid
into
anyway.
the books, so none of that ever bothered me. And honestly, I was bullied in high school, bullied by Star Wars fans because I tried to create like an original character that was like the daughter of Han Solo and Leia, and they're like, that doesn't exist. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Which is funny because they do have a daughter later, you know. Okay, so I had my heart broken recently, but like
I'm kicking you out of the chat. I'm kicking you out of this chat.
Oh, you want to hear a fun little story that's not related but related? So they re-released episode 1, right?
Right.
So I told my parents, I was like, "Hey, do you guys want to see episode 1 when it comes to theaters?" And mom was like, "Oh yeah, sure, that sounds great." And I'm like, "That's weird. I thought you didn't like episode 1, but whatever." Come to find out, she didn't realize it, but it wasn't episode 1, it was episode 1. So she thought we were watching New Hope when we were in fact watching Phantom Menace.
Yeah, because
She
A New
did
Hope
not
is episode 4.
she didn't okay, because she's from the era where episode 1 was New Hope or blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But like she didn't know until the scroll started. So I just hear her go, "What?" beside me, and I'm like, "What?" She's like, "This isn't episode 1." I'm like, "It's episode 1, 1." She's like,
Which is
"Ah."
hilarious. Well, it's hilarious though, because my mom even said she remembers a time going to the theaters after they had re-released A New Hope after they had or like right around the time they were going to release Empire Strikes Back, or around, or like right after Empire Strikes Back came out or something like that. They released it again in the theaters, and she went to go see it, and she's like, "Why is this episode 4? Why is that Roman numerals 4?" My mom always knew that it was episode 4 because it was episode 4 before they even thought of the prequels.
Yeah, because it was like when it first came out, it was just Star Wars, and
Yes.
then they were like, da, da, da,
And
da,
then they
da.
re-released it after they decided to make it not after they decided to make it a trilogy, because it was always going to be a trilogy. It was one story he chopped up into 3 different movies. But yeah, at one point they decided to like he got the green light to make it officially a trilogy. And that was when he was like, "Of course, episode 4, 5, and 6." And
Which I always thought was interesting.
and my mom was like, "But why? I'm confused."
Yeah, it's very interesting how he decided to do that. It's always intrigued me. It's like, that's an interesting choice. Like, we're starting with episode 4.
Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, but back to the whole have faith. So we went to the library recently, and they'll do like random little, displays of books and stuff. So they had like a little Star Wars display. So I'm looking around, and then I catch, because the character that I like is Mara Jade. So obvious redhead. She's like one of the few redheads that they've like main character. So I'm looking around, and there's a redhead on the book cover, and I got so excited because I thought it was a new book. It was not. So I thought they had brought her back, and no. So I was just heartbroken all over again. And mom was like, "Well, just read it anyway." I'm like, "But it's not canon."
So I totally missed this comment from Dark Engine here, where they were talking about enjoying Into the Woods. Yes, I will always enjoy Into the Woods, and specifically try to restrain laughter for the 2 princes. No, don't restrain your laughter for the 2 princes. The whole point is they are ridiculous. That is the whole point. The Broadway show that I got to see in Nashville on its tour, because it did not come to Minnesota. The closest it came to Minnesota was Chicago, but stuff was going on at that time. I couldn't go out to Chicago to see it, so we drove down to Nashville to go and see it. My mom and I went to go see it. And they they made the princes so ridiculous it just like every time they move, they would go, oh. And then like they'd follow this elbow going, oh, and they'd run off stage or whatever every time they walk and they went somewhere. It was the whole point of the Princes is to be stupid and hilarious. Like that is the whole point of the Princes.
Oh,
got it. Okay, I see. So you were in Japan. Okay, that makes sense then. That makes sense. Okay, that's fair. If it's rude in Japan to laugh or to make noise during a movie, I fully get it. And I will, and that's good for me to know for anytime I choose to go to Japan and go to see a movie, I will make sure to go to something that is not funny. Because I am very, very animated. If I think something is funny, I laugh out loud and I don't want to be rude.
I want to avoid that.
No, you didn't. There is no reason to be sorry. I was very confused. I was one confused, so no reason to be sorry at all.
Okay. That's cool.
Interesting.
Blah, blah, blah,
yeah.
Blah.
And American culture is very different than a lot of other cultures.
Mm-hmm.
We are very loud and animated here, just in general.
Yeah.
Very loud and animated. Like, that's what's so funny. I was thinking about that today. Because, like, so this week was 17. Mai, which translates to 17th of May in Norwegian. And it's Norway's Constitution Day. And Norwegians by nature, Norwegian culture is very subdued, very quiet, very introverted. And I was thinking about that as we were parading around Minneapolis. Was like, I mean, there were drums way up ahead because I was pretty far back in the parade. So like I could hear the drums very, very like a little tiny bit could hear the drums. But like for the most part, it was just a bunch of like Norwegian Americans and Norwegians just holding up Norwegian flags and walking around in silence because that's just how it is. That's how that culture is. So I'm a very loud, obnoxious person. And so trying to fit into my Norwegian culture can sometimes be very, very complicated for me. I was even raised in Norwegian culture. You'd think I wouldn't be as loud and obnoxious as I am. Oh my. Hello, stranger. I haven't talked to you in so freaking long. How are you? It's one of my friends I know through Kyle.
Oh, okay.
How are you? I haven't talked to you in so very long. I love you. I miss you. Another friend that I've known for forever and have never, well, I've met you in person, okay, but I've never met.
Ha! You can't say it anymore.
That's a throwback, yeah.
Gave me flashbacks. I was like, oh wow.
I'm doing good. Just working through life. You know how it goes.
Life. Liberty. The pursuit of happiness.
Which we really don't get that unalienable right in this country much anymore. The pursuit of happiness. I don't think anybody gets to be happy in this country.
The billionaires do.
Brit's married now. No, Zilla, we were only married for like 15 minutes at that one convention. That was it.
That's funny. No, I'm not tired. Why would I be tired?
Not the shortest marriage recorded, but close. No, it was just we were nagging each other while we were waiting in line for a signing. And the handler for the guest was like, so how long have you two been married? And we were like, I don't know how to answer that question. Because we're not.
See, that's when you make some ridiculous number. 100 years. And then just stare at them.
We said too long, I think is what we said. If I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, Zilla, but I think we said too long. No, I am absolutely not married. As much as Zilla wants me to marry him, I am not married to Zilla. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, I think both of us need to maybe focus this next month for sure on something like finding stuff that inspires, whether that be through music or through TV or movies, something that will help us and get inspired, or other books. I think that'll be something we could do is learn how to figure out inspiration, find inspiration again. Oh, you're actually writing this into our goals, huh? Get inspired. That works. Yeah, get inspired. Yeah, both of us just get romantically. What do we think about adverbs?
They're very good. Wait, that's adjective. Hold on. I don't know grammar.
Adverbs are fine. They describe a verb.
Yep.
They're fine. I mean, I understand the desire to not utilize them as much in writing. I understand the desire to not do that because that can be depicted as kind of lazier writing. But as a grammatical thing, I don't really think about them much or care. I utilize them. Destroy the wall. Yeah, that would be a good one for you, is figure out how to destroy that wall. Work through whatever you need to work through to get that issue taken care of. And again, I think for me, I think it's literally just trying to well, I mean, yeah, literally just get inspired, but like find the joy in writing romance again. Not that I don't find joy in it, but I think that's the thing, is like I wrote Where the Vinyl Ends and I was super excited about it initially, but then I went back through and I was like, this isn't the story I want to tell right now. You know what I mean? Like find that art, like find my block of cement, put my block of cement, block of whatever, and start chipping away at it and find the art within it. And I think that's where I need to be. Because I think I'm just uninspired. I think I'm at a creative roadblock about stuff. And I think it's just because I've not been focused. My brain has not been put in a position where I am, because I'm not reading romance right now. I'm not watching romance right now. So
yeah,
it's hard to get into that romance mindset when I'm watching British comedy or reading Kenan Thompson talk about SNL. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it needs to be more like on topic of what you want to do.
Right. As much as I love those things, I love British comedy and I love Kenan Thompson, and especially him talking about like all that in SNL. I need to get back to focusing on what I actually want to write. Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, this is a regular thing. We do this once a month. This one's a little off from when we normally do it, just because we forgot last week. Well, last week was Mother's Day when we were going to do it.
Last week was Mother's Day, so we forgot for a good reason.
Yeah, it's either on a Saturday or a Sunday, and it's usually in the middle of the month somewhere, generally speaking. Animorphs.
It's funny.
Oh, here's another one. So are we pantsers or plotters, intuitive or methodological? So I'm kind of in between. So for my romance stuff, I tend to be more of I have a basic idea of what I want to write. I have an idea of what I want to write, a basic like direction that the story is going to take, but I usually let the story kind of tell itself, because I'm a firm believer in the story already exists. I just need to, I'm just the vessel to bring it outward. And but when it comes to my sci-fi, I've learned the hard way that I have to be more of a plotter there. And again, very methodological, because I'm creating a whole basically universe, right? I need to know the lore of these creatures that I'm creating, these beings from another planet that I'm creating. I need to understand their history and their lore. So I have to create that, right? I can't just let that exist. I can't let it come out. Like, I need to figure out, how do their powers work? What happens with those powers when they are utilized, and how are they utilized for good and for evil? Because there are good and evil on both sides from that planet, as there are on any planet, right? So it depends on what I'm writing. Luckily, with contemporary romance, it's a lot easier. Yeah. It's a lot easier to be more of a discovery writer or pantser, for me. And to answer this question, Animorphs is a middle grade book series that came out when I was like 10 when it came out, or just about to turn 10 when it came out. It came out in 1996, and it went until like 2001. And it was a series of these kids who could turn into animorphs, or could turn into animals. And so they called themselves the Animorphs because they could morph into animals. And I got to meet the author, or the creator of See you later. Thank you for stopping by. And yes, Kay is very sweet. But yeah, so it was a sci-fi book series. I got to meet the author, or the creator of it, because there were some ghostwriters with it too. So not the only author, but the creator of Animorphs. I got to meet her this last week. And so Zilla, who is a dear friend of mine, who he and I like to sometimes create these fake feuds, decided that that my sci-fi that I'm writing is essentially Animorphs. Just instead of animals, they turn into 70s and 80s technology. And so I said that dot matrix printers are cool. So that's what Animorphs is, and why there's a joke about it.
I'll answer the question on my end. I am. Aw, thank you. That's May, by the way, for Asha. That's me. I'm usually a pantser, but with this space opera series, I've had to kind of plot it out a bit more in the form of flowcharts, which is actually kind of fun. I enjoy that. So, yeah. But I basically like figure it out, because it's like in, I guess, sagas would be a term you could use. So there's like sections of each saga, and then there's like this grand like overview kind of thing. So trying to like do the basic planning of that. I would show you what the flowchart looks like, but it's on my laptop, and my laptop's not on. But there's a software called Obsidian, and you could basically like have your documents kind of like linked to each other with like different colors and stuff. So I've got there's like the main group of spacefarers, like they've got a certain color, and then like this other couple has their own colors. So it's kind of like, depending upon what the book will be about, depends upon what the color for that will be on the flowchart. So yeah,
it's really smart when you've got such an intricate story with a lot of characters like you have.
It's like I've got the main group from the crew, and then the two that'll show up a little later. And the way that I want to do these books is I want it so if you just want to read about the one set of characters, you can. Or if you want to read all of them, then it's like a fun little, oh, hey, they're in this book too. That's cool. So trying to do that will be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I did flowcharts for the project's been shelved, but I was gonna do one of those like choose your own adventure sort of things. So I had a flow chart for that too, because it's a good way to like visualize what you're planning and plotting. So I like it. It's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, I like that idea, and I might actually utilize that. One of the things that I did for, my sci-fi series, because again, I've got a lot of characters, and they're all going to have POVs in the
Yeah.
books. Like, it's gonna be told from all of their perspectives. And so what I did, 'cause this came from an idea that I got off of a TikTok video with another, like, sci-fi writer who writes a bunch of, like POVs. And so
Mhm.
I found images. I found like stock photos of models that look like the characters in my head, at least as close to the characters as I can think of. So not only can I
Mhm.
use that to also describe the characters, because I can look at the picture and be like, okay, here we go. But also I can have them in my head because their image can be up on like on this monitor while I'm writing on this monitor. And so if I need some inspiration about like what would this character do or how would this character move, I can look at the picture and kind of get an
Mhm.
idea. So I have now a picture for each of my main characters that are going to be telling this story. But I might steal the flowchart idea too a little bit. I might steal that
It's
idea just a little bit
great. Like, I
because
don't
there's a lot of intricate connections between all the
Mhm.
characters.
Yeah. And it's definitely, like, helpful. There's different softwares to use. The one that I use, you can actually write in it, and you can in your flowchart section, there's, like, different tabs. So I guess it's kinda like Scrivener, maybe. I haven't used it. I just know what it looks like.
Yeah.
So you can have, like, your Word documents, you can have images and stuff. You can group some of the bubbles together, so it's like bubbles inside a bubble. But you can like have one of those little things be the document from another like chapter or something. So
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah, so Zilla, I am on board with you on that a bit. I am a big proponent personally. I call it just word vomiting the first draft.
Mhm.
Like I just freaking write. Again, when it comes to my romance stuff, that's really a lot easier because because it's contemporary romance. So we're looking at our current universe with our current world, and just plopping these characters into this world, right? So it's a lot easier because there isn't all this lore that I had to create, right? Which is why that's why with the sci-fi series I'm struggling a bit more because I'm creating a whole other like being that comes from this other planet to Earth, and I have to create their whole history, their planet's entire
Mhm.
history. Because the last thing I want is for somebody to be reading one of the books and be like, yeah, but this doesn't work based on this, or you know what I mean? Like, here's a plot
Yeah.
hole. I want to avoid plot holes as much as possible, right? Um, but yeah, I am a big believer in just word vomiting a first draft, not even like sorry, that might considering we have somebody in here that probably does not speak English as a first language. I do apologize if that is a confusing term. Basically just getting words on paper is all I mean. Like just writing, just getting it out there. Um, and but I'm a big believer in that as well. And then my second, third drafts, and however many other drafts I end up doing after that, based on feedback that I get from others. Because like obviously I usually want to have sensitivity readers. I want to have beta readers. I
Mhm.
want to have I have a critique partner that I go through as well. I have my editor, so usually I go through quite a few different versions of my books. Um, and so um I put a lot more effort into maintaining plot during that. So I agree with you on that one, Zilla.
And it's like I also, and you are very aware of this, I will like have scenes stuck in my head and they won't even like be a part of the book. They're like maybe several books down, but it helps kind of explore the characters a little more, which is nice. Please don't mind the big hot mess.
Sorry, I had to remove my camera for a second.
Oh, no, you're fine. But yeah, so I do that. I'm a big fan of like, oh, there's this scene that I want to like see what these two characters do in this scene. And so that has led to a lot of like restructuring and changing of one of the characters, like not the main character in like this crew, but like one of the side ones. Um because like she used to be really not great, but now she's a little more like she's become kind of a redeemable villain where you're going to relate more to her than what's trying to make her into a villain, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, I love watching somebody become a villain because it makes them less of the like, oh, you're just a bad person. That's one of the reasons why with this trilogy I'm thinking about doing a prequel, and the prequel would be specifically based off of the two they're main characters as well, but neither one of them tell the story. But the two that basically come to this planet, the two beings that come to this planet, they're from the same planet. They're actually there is a relation between them, and they come to this planet, and I want to watch essentially her become a villain, but also him. You really start to fully flesh out that he's not this all wonderful person. That he is also fallible. And so it kind of will gray those characters up a bit, which will be nice, because that's the problem with doing it from a first person perspective. I really can't jump into the villain's head unless I give the villain a couple of chapters. But even then, like, I can't humanize this character. And so I kind of want to humanize this character by doing a prequel.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of interesting how the one character's transition from like, oh, you're just a villain to be a villain to, oh no, you have a reason for this. So
yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to figure out right now is what was their story before? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, how did we get to this place where they are bitter enemies with each other when they weren't always that way? Like, why is he driven so far to be at this place? And how is she driven so far to just want to destroy everything that is important to him? So that's, I think, where I'm stuck right now with that story, is trying to figure that history out. So I don't know. Part of me wonders if I should just write that prequel now.
Go for it. Yeah.
So I don't know, because I've never done it. I definitely know of books that have, but I've never done it. But I know, Kay, you're writing from that perspective a little bit, right?
Yeah, but it's not first person. And it actually, like, originally it was like their like perspective, like third person, but then I shifted to the romantic interest, so you get introduced to this like character from her point of view, so you can actually see like you're like not great to, oh no, you're actually better than these other people, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I guess the best way, well, a way to do it would be just kind of showcasing why the villain is doing it. Because then it's like, oh, there's a reason for this choice. It's not, oh, I just want to destroy a city because it's fun. Ha ha.
Right.
Like, you can have people like that. There are people like that, but
yeah, there are definitely people
yeah,
in the world that just want to see everything burn, and that's, sometimes they run for president 3 times.
Why not? Have a little fun in your boring life. Yeah, it was interesting, like, coming, because figuring out the point of view that I wanted to do for the couples like saga set or whatever was interesting, because it went from like this drastically different scenario to, oh, this is how it's going to go. So it's kind of fun. And it's like they were always going to fall in love with each other, but the way that I've got it set now, it like fits the narrative better. So
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's like I said before, there's no real right way to write. You just you do what works for you. Like I got stuck in that hole because I became so important to me of like, don't edit your first draft. Don't edit while you're writing your first draft. Just write. But for some people, it helps develop the story better if they can edit along the way. And so, even though, that doesn't work for me. If I start editing along the way, I will never finish a project. I won't. because I used to do that. And then once I started writing just straight through, then, but like I said, there's no right way to do it. So like if it works for you to, do it this way, then that's, the way it is. And remember too, we're not experts necessarily either.
Oh yeah, no.
We're people who, have been writing for a very long time. I took some creative writing courses while I was in university and stuff. And I have written a book and released it. But that doesn't, there are so many authors out there that you can also look for even more perspectives and stuff. So Zilla, I went to a university, St. Cloud State University. I did not go to actually, that's not true. I did go to Normandale College to help finish up my degree because I moved to the Twin Cities and St. Cloud State University is far away.
It's funny.
The United States is literally the only country that calls all secondary or like all post-secondary education college. It's actually not all college. It's university and college. And St. Cloud State University is a university, there are colleges within the university. But there is a university. So I went to university.
I went to neither.
Again, I grew up with people that did not speak English as a first language. So I have a very interesting way of saying things. Even though English is my first language, I have taken on the lexicon really of the Norwegian language. So a lot of what I say, even though it's in English, sometimes I'll randomly say Norwegian words. Like I don't say, what is that? I say, var det. And people just in my life just know what that means. I'll say,
you say something
instead of thank you, usually. Tusen takk. So
I thought about taking like writing courses and stuff in college, like back when I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be what I do, blah blah blah. But then I just never did because it costs money and stuff. And
yeah. And it does, and it's gotten more and more expensive. Like I went back to finish my degree 10 years later, and what it took for me to go 1 year is basically like 2 years when I went to university originally.
That's gross.
I started going to university in the fall of 2005. So I'm old.
Ancient one.
I don't know if out of the people that I know personally, I am the oldest person among us, but I guess I don't know about Dark Engine. I don't know if I'm older than you or not.
Oh, that's true.
But I know I'm older than Kay, and I know I'm older than Zilla, and I know I'm older than Matthew if Matthew is still here. I'm 10 years older than Matthew, actually. I'm old.
Ancient one.
I'm older than Kay. I'm literally older than Kay by like 4 months.
I was still older.
86, and Kay was born in February of 87.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm younger than you then. By not much, but I'm younger than you. I'm almost 40. I'll be 40 soon-ish. Before I knew it. Before I know it, I'll be 40.
Right.
I mean, I still feel like I just turned 30. Like to think that it was almost 8 years ago that I jumped out of an airplane to turn 30. And I'm like, that was almost 8 years ago. That does not feel like wild. 8 years ago.
No, it feels like maybe a year ago.
Well, definitely longer than a year ago for me, but like definitely does not feel like 8. I went skydiving. Like that seems
right.
Weird to me.
Time is weird.
Time is weird.
Time is strange.
Time, especially since the pandemic. Like I think the pandemic really screwed with our concept of time.
It did, yeah. I don't know how, but it did.
Oh, absolutely it did.
100%.
We were locked in our houses for like at least a year.
Just a couple months.
Well,
we were like, oh, we're gonna reopen. That was so weird. Just
Well, I remember leaving my office to go work from home, thinking I was gonna be back in the office in like a couple weeks, maybe a month at most. And I was like keeping tallies of how many weeks I spent at home at one point. And I'm technically hybrid. So like I go in every once in a while into the office now, but like we never went back full time to the office. No, there are like at my particular office, there's only like 3 people that work in the office.
Yeah.
Full time.
It's just weird.
Sorry.
I'm tired.
See, yeah, that's the thing is I'm looking forward to turning 40. Like I remember thinking like being really panicky that I was turning 30. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be 30. And now like the idea of turning 40 and I'm like, you know what? 40 is not so bad. I'm kind of excited. It's also really weird to think I'm almost 40 because I don't feel like I'm almost 40. But then I think, what should 40 feel like though? Like 40 can feel like 30.
40 feels like whatever 40 feels like.
I'm watching, like I said, I'm rewatching Reba right now, and Reba McEntire was like 42 when the show started. And like I'm thinking, I don't look that old, but then again, I think it's maybe because my mentality is Reba's just always been my parents' age.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I mean, I think she's like just a couple years older, or maybe like a year older than my parents, something like that. She's around my parents' age. And so like I'm like, you know, maybe that's just the mentality is that she's just always been older. So for me, when I'm nearly 40, looking at her at 42, I'm like, no, she's like 60.
It's so funny how that works.
Right? Look it up. I can't remember when she was born. Reba McEntire. Reba McEntire was born in 1955. So yeah, like 3 years older than my parents.
Okay.
So, but yeah. Yeah, so like I said, I mean, you know, just I don't know. Age is but a number. You're only as old as you feel. And
I feel like a nap.
Well, luckily, I mean, I know I might not look like it because I'm a large-bodied person, but like I'm a literal athlete. And so like I get to feel a lot younger than I think a lot of people my age tend to, and that's just because I'm so active in my everyday life. So I mean, you can't quite see it, but my elliptical is literally like right behind me, and I jump on that like a lot. I love getting on my elliptical.
Nice.
So
oh no.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why people talk out loud. I talk out loud all the time too. I talk to myself all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can get my thoughts out better if I'm talking it out. So if I'm talking it out to myself or to one of my animals or, you know, even to another person, I feel like I can get my thoughts out. So if I'm the only person around, yeah, I'm going to talk to myself.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Just helps.
I got nothing wrong with talking to myself. But I also don't judge people when I see them talking to themselves. Like if I just see them mouthing or, you know, like saying stuff and nobody else is around, I'm like, they're talking to themselves or there's a ghost around. I don't know.
You never know. Ghosties.
And even so, like let's say it's, you know, something like schizophrenia and they're talking to, you know, a hallucination. Nothing to judge there either.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, there we go.
Yeah.
Something up. There we go.
All right. So looking at it again, so you created our goals in here. So get inspired by space stuffs is for you.
Yes.
So your real goal is to destroy the wall. And mine is get romantically inspired, but my real goal is find the focus, which I think is a great way to put it. So, I mean, but that's the thing is like how I mean, obviously, again, I don't want you to go into detail because obviously there's a personal thing, but like, what are you going to theoretically do to destroy the wall? Like,
So it's
getting too specific.
the wall, it will basically be either I keep it as it is or I change it a bit.
Okay.
So it's going to be pretty simple once I figure out whether I should keep it or change it. It's
Okay.
just a matter of would it be wise to keep it? So
I would say if it helps you process something, maybe. But if it's going to be at the risk of your mental health, then no.
it's not really a personal thing so much as it's a thing going on, and I don't want it to look like I'm using it for like the story.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's fair. Kind of like how I was nervous about my book coming out and people being like, "Oh, that sounds familiar to somebody I know."
Mm-hmm. So it's just,
or people who don't know me and think I'm actually saying that about my own mother, which I'm not. My mother is the complete opposite of that. Heinous, heinous, heinous woman.
why would I watch G Gundamzilla when I could watch Robotech?
See, and I thought you were going to go somewhere. I mean, I should have known you were going to go Robotech. I should have known because I know you and I've known you for 14 years.
I was about to say, what else would I have said?
When you said, why would I watch G Gundam? And I'm like, when you could watch Gundam Wing. But then I was like,
why would I say that?
Because that's something I would say.
I'm not you.
Honestly, you would probably enjoy G Gundam. G Gundam is definitely a Gundam series I think would really grab your attention. It's not one that grabbed mine, but I think that G Gundam would definitely be one you would like. If you knowing you and knowing the kinds of things you like, G Gundam is right up your alley, actually. If I'm honest.
I think that was one of the ones that I got and I just never watched it. Just like all the other Gundams ever.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, Zilla, but I'm glad you love it. I will give it its flowers as to it's a very good story. It's just not the kind of story I tend to love as much as I like other ones. Other Gundams.
There's also like some other space themed animes and stuff that I want to watch that might help.
I haven't watched RoboCop in years.
I'm gonna be that person. I don't think I've ever seen it.
You of all people have never seen RoboCop?
I feel like if I have, I would remember, but I don't remember. Not what? Does that make sense? Like, I don't think I have, but maybe I did. I just don't remember it. Is it streaming somewhere? I could also just go to the library. Library's free.
It's official.
What did you do? Did you add to my goals?
Yes.
You have to be specific. You have to say the 1987 because there is that other version that's the new one.
Yeah,
well,
that's
I
true.
guess newish.
I've not seen the new one. I've only ever seen the original RoboCop. Yes, exactly.
I will say I did at least watch Blade Runner, so I can say that I've seen that.
I love Blade Runner. I got the hankering to watch Blade Runner again when I was going to Youmacon out in Detroit because there is this level of the Renaissance Center in Detroit, which is where half of Youmacon was held at the time. I think most of it's at it's not Kobo anymore, but when I was out there, it was called Kobo. They renamed their convention center, but I think most of it's at Kobo now. But at the Renaissance Center, there is this level that like you feel like you're just in Blade Runner. Like you feel like you're in Blade Runner on that level, and there's only one way to it, and it's a very specific like you can see it from like all these other places, and you're like, how do we get there? That building is so stupidly designed. I don't know what the person who designed that building was on, but they were on something. But there is like one very specific escalator that gets you to that level, and it's like a glass floor, and it's not like you can see through glass floor. It's like a frosted glass floor, and it's lit from the frosted glass, and it just feels like you're in Blade Runner. It's just, oh my god.
That's funny. Yeah, Blade Runner did kind of bore me, but it's really like
boring movie.
It's kind of cool though. So yeah.
I love the concept of it. You're right. For the story and the world building and stuff, I do really like what they created. I've not seen the sequel. I have not.
We watched the original to watch the sequel, but I remember nothing about the sequel.
Yeah, I have not seen the sequel, though I do love the fact that Harrison Ford is pretty much spending his like twilight years of acting just bringing back his most iconic characters by coming back as Han Solo, by coming back as Indiana Jones.
So funny.
He did the Blade Runner sequel. Like,
it's hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm not going to disagree with that. I studied film history in college, like, or in university. And I genuinely like can agree with you that Blade Runner is not the most entertaining movie. Though I'm also in the same world of like the best movie ever made or best film ever made, which is Citizen Kane. Like they have a screaming cockatoo in the middle of the movie because they were afraid that people would fall asleep and they wanted to wake them up. So they just start a scene with a squawking parrot to wake people up.
The funniest thing.
It's the stupidest like film history tidbit that I have. There's no Kane in Citizen Kane.
That's so funny.
Oh my god. We should probably end the stream here soon though, because I have to go meal prep for the week. So
ooh, fancy pants.
I had for my wraps.
I had a peanut butter sandwich for the first time in like a while because I've just been buying food up at work, and I'm eating it going, I hate this. So
I used to live off of peanut butter sandwiches.
Same.
But like there isn't enough nutrition in them for me to feel satiated anymore. So yeah. I don't get like I just don't eat them anymore. I don't hate peanut butter sandwiches. It's just nutrition in them for me. There isn't enough nutrition, so my body doesn't feel satiated. So
yeah, I just because like that's my struggle meal was peanut butter sandwich because it's cheap.
Yeah,
but like, oh my goodness, I ate it and I'm like, I hate this so much. So,
and yes, I mean scientifically this is correct. Protein and fiber, specifically protein and carbohydrates, but carbohydrates that are high in fiber, yes, create satiation. But for me, because I look at food as like fueling my body, yes, I do try to have protein and a carbohydrate, specifically carbohydrate with high fiber, in every meal. But I also want to have a lot of micronutrients as well. So I want veggies and like fruits. So like when I went to sushi with UK when I was in Texas, and then yesterday when I went with Nikki to the same, not the same one, but like the same company,
yeah.
You know, and remember how I was saying there, like, I want like a vegetable, like, so I ordered that hand roll, that cucumber hand roll. And I did that with Nikki too yesterday. And Nikki was like, why are you just getting that? Why are you getting that? And I was like, because I want a vegetable.
Yeah.
And so, you know, technically cucumbers are a fruit, but whatever.
I like cucumbers. Cucumbers are so good.
But yeah, I need a fruit or a vegetable as well, or else I just feel like it's not a full meal for me. And so satiated in the sense of like, yeah, I'll feel full and I'll feel full for a very long time, but I will not feel as energized as I could. But that's I focus a lot on nutrition because I am in a position financially where I can focus on nutrition. I want to recognize my ability, because not everybody has that ability financially or within physical reach, things like that.
Yeah. And I think it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, no peanut butter sandwiches for a while, because it's one of those like safe food things, and it like everything about it now is not safe. So it's like, okay, now I got to shift to something else. So fancy pants Rich McGee over here. That has been stuck in my head.
Hey, I
hate it.
recognized my ability to do that. Like, I recognize the fact that I am financially in a place where this is okay for me. I can do that.
Yeah.
And I also understand that everybody can focus on that. Oh, nor does anybody. Does some people want to? I mean, there are some people who really don't have the know-how or want to know how to focus on nutrition, and that is just as valid.
I was just quoting a little sound from TikTok, but
yes, no, I know, because I've seen that many times.
Did you know it's AI?
I did.
Okay. Because I discovered that, and I'm like, I should have known, but I didn't know.
It's that AI country song. It's the guns and butts part that just makes me lose it in that song.
Hilarious.
I'm like, that is so very much like country music.
Right? Hilarious.
That sounds like a very sad time. I have not watched
the boss
in a long time.
I'm the boss.
But you know what I have watched? I have watched Community, who make fun of Who's the Boss.
That's funny. That's funny. Maybe I'll watch something tonight.
I'll say, like, I'm thinking I'm gonna sit down probably when we watch a romantic comedy. I probably won't. I'll probably just watch Reba and beat Mario 64. But
you still have time. You have time.
I still have time for the next stream. I don't have to do it right this second, right tonight.
Oh. Immediately.
But when I was at the library meeting, K.A. Applegate, but as I was waiting for my group to be able to go in for the signing, I was going through, because we were sitting right next to the DVDs, so I was looking through the DVDs, and I came across a romantic comedy that I've always meant to watch, and I haven't. And I was like, and honestly, I love the idea, because it's like her partner, I can't remember if it's a husband or a boyfriend, but her partner dies. It's called Catch and Release, but her partner dies before the movie takes place, and so she ends up hanging out with his best friend, and they never really got along. Well, they start to get along, obviously they start to get along. So I might sit down to watch that if it's streaming anywhere, because I don't own it, and I'm not going to pay money for it if I'm never going to watch it again.
We'll just rent it at the library.
Yeah, unfortunately, the library I went to is not the library near my house. That's the only reason I didn't check it out when I was there, because I just don't want to have to drive all the way back up to Roseville.
Maybe your library has it.
Maybe. We'll see if it's streaming anywhere first.
Smart.
If not, then I can head over there, because I'm not far from my closest library. My closest library is like literally just down the street.
Nice.
So, yeah, I've got a really close library.
I don't want to say where mine is, because that kind of gives away.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much about where mine is either, because it's one thing for me to say the city I live in, because the city I live in is a pretty large city comparatively to the state of Minnesota. Pretty large city, but I usually just say I'm in Minneapolis, because that's just the easiest thing to say, because most people have heard of Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Or I just say I'm near-ish the Mall of America.
It works location-wise without giving away too much.
That's right. So here's another question. So what do y'all think about this line, if I may ask? I've been deliberately trying to do the opposite of all the introductory creative writing advice I've received. So the line, I've recently developed a newfound appreciation for the harmony of mindless conformity, and there's no better example of such brutal harmony than the ubiquitous yellow yoga pants. I love that. They're unifying threads that bind us together, creating a relentless sense of timeless solidarity. You're very good with words. I like your utilization of these words. Why, when we all wear yellow yoga pants, we don the costume of a conformity army marching forward into the future and ready to ask each other on Twitter how to tackle whatever challenges come our way. I really like that. There's a lot of solid wordplay and stuff in that. I really like that. Is that like an opening line to something? Because that sounds like an opening line, and I really like it. I really do. I like that a lot.
It's good.
Yeah. In my opinion, it's good. I like it.
I've got the AI song stuck in my head.
I'm still just playing with these damn Post-its.
Ooh, fancy pants, rich.
Just goofing around a bit. Thank you. I like it. I do. I like it.
It's very good.
Anyway, so yeah, I think this is where we probably should end it because it's been 2.5 hours. So I think this is where we should probably end the stream for today. So it looks like our next stream is set up probably June 16th.
Tentatively.
Obviously, if there's a change there, we'll move things around if we need to. So yeah, so usually we do it at 2 p.m. Central Time. Both Kay and I are in Central Time. Central US time. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for hanging out with us and interacting. Think about some goals that you have for your creative endeavors, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you very much. You're welcome. And thank you for subscribing. I look forward to getting to know you better. This will be fun. Thank you for joining us today, Dark Engine specifically, because you've created some really good conversation. So thank you. All right, we'll see y'all in the next stream.